סלام בخير בוקר טוב. שיעור אמروز ספonsor של נשמای יוסף חיים ben Davud, my uncle, my cousin, Dr. Sharon Shamech, has sponsored this week's Torah learning and activities for Nishmat his father, my dear uncle. Hashem should elevate his neshama. Maybe I'm speaking English for you to join as well. So Pasuk says that Hashem spoke to Moshe and he told him, Ani Hashem. So the way the Pasuk begins, it says, Vaidaber Elokim. Hashem spoke. So Vaidaber, in the beginning of Vaera, we have two words in Hebrew which it's the same word, Vaidaber and Vayomer. What's the difference between Vaidaber and Vayomer? Vayomer also means spoke. Hey, what's the difference between Vaidaber and Vayomer?
Softly versus harshly.
Very good.
Something like that.
Very good. Vaidaber is kasher, hard, harsh or tough. Hashem spoke to Moshe very harshly. But then he told him, and also says Elokim. Elokim is Midat Hadin. Elokim means judgment. Then it says, he told him, Ani Hashem, I'm God. So now, then you have Vayomer. Vayomer is softly. Right? Ani Hashem, also, Hashem is Yud Kevavke, also is Midat Rachamim. Also Midah of softly. Hashem, Aval Pasuk, میگه Vaidaber Elokim, یعنی Hashem محکم صحبت کرد. Right? تازه جاجمنتال صحبت کرد. بعد بهش گفت Ani Hashem. من هستم هشم. هشم یعنی یود که وافکه خیلی آروم و نایس و هشم یعنی در چشم ما خیلی صافتر.
هشم is showing that he has two sides.
چه اول کار با تاف شروع میکنه بعد آخر صافته. حالا توی شما اسرائیل most famous pasuk میگه شما اسرائیل بشنو اسرائیل هشم الوکینو هشم which is the soft one, Elokeinu, Hashem is the tough one. Hashem is one. Again, the two I'm Hashem is the soft one, Hashem is the tough one. Okay? So now I shared this in our Torah last week because it really starts from the end of last week's Parsha. You know, Rashi brings this midrash in this Parsha. So
David is the hard ones. When he wants the soft ones is good with the people. With Israel, it's going to be soft.
Very good. So that's what it seems to me, or to everybody. که وقتی خداوند داره مثلا protection میاره، براخا میاره، چیز میاره. دست هشم you know soft ولی هشم داره خاص بشارم پانیش میکنه، جریمه میکنه، این میکنه، اون میکنه. هشم is the tough one. So says Rabbi David Feinstein که خداوند این پاسخ رو با چی شروع کرده؟ الوکیم. یعنی خدا دیانه. Hashem is the judge. When you go to a judge, you're asking for what? What's the judgment? When you go to court, what are you asking for? What exactly you desire to get? When you go, so what did the court do? You know what happened yesterday? So this is the second part. But the Nasi, a president or a leader, could override the judge. So, okay, the judge says, so I don't like it. I like to give, a commute. Yesterday, I didn't know who he was. There was a Jew called Yaakov Chaim Deutsch from Brooklyn, New York. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison for mortgage fraud, right? And this happened exactly almost a year ago. I think a year ago, or maybe 2 years ago. So even the prosecutors had asked the judge only for 18 months jail the court gave him even more than what the prosecutors asked for. 5 years. Yesterday, President Trump signed an executive order, give a pardon. And yeah, Hashem, if a person wants to be merciful, Hashem could do it. A king, a president could override. So if a president can override and give pardon, then Hashem for sure could give a pardon, override the judgment. So why did Hashem spoke to Moshe harshly and then softly? So if you look at the last week's Parsha, in the end, Torah says, when Hashem sent Moshe to speak to Paro, Paro said, there's no way I send the Jews out. Not only that, I'm going to make it harder for them. I'm not going to give them straws to make bricks. You go find it yourself. Jews said, Moshe, what is it now? We have even harder time. Right? Some Jews started complaining, not everybody. The ones who always complain, they'll complain to Moshe. Moshe went to Hashem and said, Lama hareota la'am hazeh v'lo hazeh shalachtani. Hashem, why did you do bad to this nation? That was a very wrong comment. Some say because of this, Moshe was punished not to go to Israel. All from beginning of 40 years, not in the end of 40 years. All the way from beginning, before when they left Egypt, Hashem punished you if you won't go to Israel because of that comment. Why did you do bad to Jews? Why did you send me? So he says that Hashem said to Moshe, you're saying that you are the defense attorney. So you want good for the Jewish people. So you're saying, why did you send me this for? Why did you make it harder now? So Hashem said, "Vaydaber Elokim." Hashem spoke very harshly, very tough. He said, "I'm the Dayan. I'm the judge. I know what they deserve to get, but my judgment is very different than the judgment that you could tell in Basar Adam, in human judges. Why? Because he says, first of all, human judges, they don't live too long. A judge can live 80, 90, 50, 100 years max. So if they make a decree, they have to execute the decree right away. There's a halakha, by the way, that if the Bedin says somebody has to get malkut, you have to give them the lashes right away. If Chas Shalom Bedin says somebody has to get hung, you do it right then. We're not going to wait till tomorrow. They're supposed to do it right away because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Or is the judge going to be alive? Not so, as long as you're alive, do what he said. But Hashem says, I don't have to rush. I'm here all the time. I'm going to be for millions of years. So I don't have to rush my judgment. I can wait 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years. I can wait as long as I want. But if I'm not bringing the Geulah, the redemption, fast, I have my own cheshbonot, I have my own calculation. So why Paro is not getting punished right away? Why Paro is doing so many bad things and everything is just going as normal? So he says, first of all, we don't know, maybe Hashem has to pay Paro some rewards for what he did right before. Before I punish him, I have to first pay him. Why did he do good? First of all, in time of Yosef, he did a lot of good to Jews. So we owe Egyptians a lot of, gratitude. They gave us food when we were hungry, when we didn't have a place to go. Also, they were our host for 200 years. Even though they were a very bad host, but they were a host. Listen to this. It says, usually, someone says, if your family, yourself, your family, your nation, need a host to go somewhere. There are two hosts. One says, I'm not going to take you, too bad. One says, I'm going to take you, I'll give you a very hard time. Which one is better?
One take you and give you a hard time.
At least have somewhere to live, right? Since according to the Torah view, you have to give him gratitude. Because end of the day, you were living somewhere. You have a landlord, he's a nasty landlord. Very nasty. But you're living there, so you have to have gratitude because the landlord is giving you a place to live. So he says that even though Egyptians killed so many Jews, but because they were our host, Hashem said that Egyptians are allowed to convert to become a Jew. But Ammoni and Moavi, that they were not our hosts, they were all just enemies, our neighbor and enemies, they cannot convert to become a Jew because we don't owe them any gratitude. They didn't do anything good for us. We did good for them, but they were good for us. They don't have to convert to become a Jew. So, but Egyptians, they had a lot of goodness in them. They hosted us. They had the Jewish heart. They were nice people. I think they were nice enough to host us for that period of time. So it says some people unfortunately don't want to give recognition, but it's wrong. A person, when you don't have any other choice and somebody gives you a bad choice, still you have to give him gratitude. You have to appreciate that. So maybe for that reason, Hashem wanted to prolong the galut because he had to, meantime, pay the Egyptians for what they did good for us. Number two, maybe Hashem wanted to bring a lot of miracles into Egypt. So if he had done it overnight, there was no Pesach, there was no 10 Makot, there was no celebration of Yetziat Mitzrayim because we didn't see any miracles. So he says, can you believe a Jewish Torah, a Jewish nation, Jewish calendar without Exodus, all the miracles? We didn't have Sukkot, we didn't have Pesach, all the, Pidyon Haben, Tefillin, everything is about Yetziat Mitzrayim. So Hashem prolonged it because in future we'll get a lot of good things for it. So Hashem says that I need to prolong, I need to wait. I can't do it right away. Moshe, in the meantime, is upset. Hashem, why are you making it harder? Why you don't do a chick-chock in and out? So listen to this. We say this every day. We're going to come back to Shema Yisrael soon. We say every day in Shemone Esrei, Ata Gibor Le'olam Hashem. Hashem, you are strong forever. What does that mean? Ata Gibor Le'olam Hashem. Hashem, you are strong forever. Already you're strong. Right? So it says Le'olam always means even when it seems to us Hashem is kind of weak, right? He's not protecting us. He's not doing what we want him to do. Maybe Hashem is not so strong at that time. But we say it.
Punish us.
So, if our enemies are killing us, where is Hashem's strength? October 7th, Holocaust. Tach v'tat. Tach v'tat? Tach v'tat, it was about 380 years ago, almost 378 years ago. Tach v'tat in Hebrew means 408 and 409 in the Hebrew calendar. My daughter was studying this for a test last night, I think. Yeah, when I got home, she was studying it. After the Chalavik, she was studying this. Tach v'tat. Shach lived at the time of Tach v'tat. And they say Tach v'tat made Holocaust second to the worst. Cossacks, a bunch of Ukrainian army, they killed so many Jews, they wiped out hundreds of Jewish towns in Ukraine, all over Eastern Europe. They say Holocaust is second to the worst. It's not the worst thing in the world that happened to us past 100 or 300 years. Tach v'tat, it's very famous. Shach writes in one of his books that I cannot write because I have to run for my life. Because I'm in the middle of Tach v'tat, I can't focus. And he wrote a lot of books. So I can't write. I don't have a peace of mind because I have to run for my life. Tach v'tat was very, very bad. Ukraine and Russia, they were always very, very bad to Jews. They've killed many, many Jews. Many, many Jews. Even like 100 years ago, before the Holocaust, they killed a lot of Jews. Probably more. Nobody knows how many because they were killing towns. They would bury them right there or burn them alive. So nobody knows how many people killed. time of Holocaust, I think there's some kind of a documentation because the Germans, Yimach Shemam, they documented how many Jews they killed. They know.
So why they don't like us? Why? Because we are smart?
Very good question. Let's see if he talks about it. That remind me in the end. I talk about it hopefully. So, but we say Hashem, Atok Gibor Leolam Hashem. You're always strong. Millions of people are dying, and how can we say Hashem? You're always strong. So he says that even in those times that Jews are going through a very, very bad time, still Hashem is strong. That's not a weakness, that's strength of Hashem. So now listen, when you say Gibor, what does Gibor mean?
That's Gabriel.
Yes, comes from Gabriel too. What does Gibor mean?
Strength.
Gevura means strength. Gibor means like,
More power.
very pahlevun, somebody who's
Oh.
like very, very strong,
Giant.
a giant, someone, the bully of your town, somebody, everybody has to bow down to him, everybody has to follow his orders because I'm the Gibor. But we call Hashem, Atak Gibor Lola Hashem. Hashem, you are the strong one, you are the pahlevun, right? You are the tough guy in the world.
Like Gevura.
Right, exactly. It comes from Gibura. So, what does Gibur means? Gibur doesn't mean that somebody does not give in on anything. It has to be, he's there all the time. If you are a strong husband, what does that mean? Everything you say in the house has to go. This is my way. If you are a head of a company, it has to be my way, or either my way or get out of here, my or highway. Is that what Gibor means? Or as Chachamim say, Ezo Gibor HaKovesh et Yisro. Who is a strong person? Somebody who can conquer his Yetzer Hara or his inclination. Whatever he thinks I want to do, then I can strongly hold myself back. Chachamim said that's a Gibor. He's a strong person. Meaning, somebody could go and break down a whole wall.
You can tell.
He's not a very strong person because let's say if he's offered to do something bad, he would do it. You're not a strong person. You can't hold yourself back. But someone says, I love this non-kosher food. I love this sandwich. This boy looks so delicious and it smells so good. And the price is perfect. And I'm so hungry and I have no food around. I'm gonna eat it, right? And then I can break down the whole wall. This is not a strong person. Who's a strong person? So, I love that sandwich, but I'm not going to eat it. I can control myself. He's a Hakosh, so somebody control himself. So listen to this. If Hashem wants to destroy this, terrible person, he wants to kill him, wants to get rid of them, and he holds himself back, I don't want to do it for whatever reason I have, he's a strong person. We call Hashem Gibor, right? So
that's the reason for the two version of his name.
Right, we got to get there. So now, sometimes he says the king wants to punish his own son. Listen to this. But then he says, I don't want to do it myself. I'll ask somebody else to punish my son. I can't punish my own son. He's my son. How can I punish him? So he will take another agency of punishment, Paro, Hitler, Cossacks, Russians, Arabs. You punish my son. I don't want to punish myself. That's also Givura. That's also strength. Hashem is holding himself back. He's not doing it himself. He's doing it through somebody else. So, and then Hashem sees, or the king sees, he's doing worse than I wanted. I didn't ask him to do this. I said, a little bit. He's going all the way out. Then Hashem goes out, the king goes out, he's making an example of a king and says, stop! You're killing you're punishing my son too much. That's also Gevura. So when we say, Atak Gevur Olam Hashem, you are strong, Le'olam, always, it means always. So when a person asks us, how is Hashem strong when so many nations are ruling over us, bothering us, killing us? we say no. Hashem is strong because He's controlling Himself not to do it Himself to us. Baruch Hashem, He's not destroying us. Someone else is doing it. There must be a reason that Hashem wants us to get punishment, but Hashem doesn't want to do it Himself. It's going through a shaliach. So now, when we say Atak Gvura Hashem, Hashem is always is in charge with Midat Rachamim. Hashem is always treating us with mercy, but sometimes it's showing us this the Gevura, right? Okay, no, sorry. He's saying that always Hashem is judging us or treating us with Rachamim, but there are two sides of the coin. Whether it's Elokim or Yudkevavke, it's all Rachamim. But Hashem shows His Rachamim differently. Sometimes it's with Paro, sometimes with the miracles that He does for us. With both Rachamim.
They're both Gevurah.
Both there are two sides of Gevurah. Two sides of a coin. The same coin. Two sides of a coin. One is Hashem showing mercy. And sometimes Hashem showing, punishment mercy. But still part of mercy. So now Hashem says to Moshe, you have a good question. Why are we making it harder for Jews to live in Egypt? If I want to save them, I want to take them out of Egypt. So why is it getting harder by day? Right? So he says that really that was a good thing for Jews. Why? Because now I can shorten the time of Galut in Egypt. For whatever reason, Hashem wanted us to get a certain amount of hard time, punishment, working very hard for Egyptians.
It was supposed to be 400 years.
Right. So why 400 years? Hashem decided this is the right amount of time.
Reduce it by 50%.
Almost 50%, 47.
A little more than 50%.
Yeah. So only 210 years of Shibud. So Hashem could have done it overnight, but I don't want it. I want it to go another year, go through hard time, but then I'm going to give you, less of a sentence. You're going to get out earlier. I can make the calculation faster. So when Hashem said, when he said, I heard the cry, the shouting of Jews that Egyptians are making them work hard, it's good for them because now I can send them out much faster. So he says that a person, we all have to believe in one thing, that even if you believe that Hashem is eternal and Hashem will fulfill His promises and Hashem will kill Paro, as he said, we have to believe that Hashem does have the power to do it. And he says that to believe in Hashem's full emunah, it's a very, very hard thing to do. We say that Hashem, you are going to be forever. You're not going to do punishment. When are you going to do are you going to do punishment to our enemies, to bad people? The person has to have a belief that Hashem will do it 100%. Hashem could do it. Hashem will do it. Hashem doesn't take a second for God to do it. Even though you might not see it very, the time that we want to like to see it, but Hashem will do it. So then go through the whole, very famous Pesukim that Hashem kept Paro alive to see all the miracles, to see how strong Hashem is for His nation to know. He hardened Paro's heart later on to keep bringing the miracles. So now he says another important thing. He says when Moshe Rabbeinu appeared, when Hashem appeared to Moshe Rabbeinu, in last week's Parsha, on the Mount Chorev, or Mount Sinai, what did Moshe see? Moshe saw a burning bush, right? What was a burning bush? It says that Vayar Malach Hashem elav, Hashem's angel appeared to Moshe belabat esh, in a fire, in a fire. Vaera, and he saw that the bush is burning, but the bush doesn't get consumed, still there. You have a piece of wood, after an hour burning, it gets dust, right? Bush takes 30 seconds or 1 minute maximum to get completely dust, but this bush is continuing. So over there it says Malach Hashem Yutke Vavke. Hashem is showing something with his rachamim. Burning bush, fire, burning the bush, but it's Yutke Vavke, it's not Elokim. So it looks like this is Hashem's rachamim, Hashem's mercy that is burning the bush. And that's why it's not getting completely consumed. Then later on, it says, "Vayomer Hashem ra'u ra'iti et ani ami." Hashem, again, Yud Kei Vav Kei said, I saw the hard time of my nation. So if you're Rachamim, why you say I saw the hard time of my nation? I'm going through a hard time, Hashem. So he says that over there, Hashem said to Moshe that I'll take the Jews out of Egypt because I promised their fathers, right? I'm the father of Avraham Yaakov. I'll take them out. So Moshe said to Hashem, so why the Jews are burning? Why is the Seneh, the bush is burning? So he said, because the fathers, I promised them. But to the Jews, they don't have any zechut, they don't have any mitzvah in their hands, they don't have merits to get out. So that's why they're burning. So if Jews have to get this big plus of redemption and don't have any zechut, I have to bring them out because I promised their fathers. But them, they don't have any zechut. So what am I going to give them instead? That burning, that tough time. So according to this Pirush, Hashem had to give them the hard time, same idea, in order for them to get redemption. Because they don't have any own zechut, they don't have own merits. So let's go back to what we started with. Vaydaber Elokim el Moshe. Hashem spoke to Moshe with Elokim. Moshe said, Hashem, why are you making it hard? You're very judgmental. You're very, very judgmental. It's getting very, very hard for Jews. Hashem said, you love Ani Hashem. He said to Moshe, Ani Hashem, I'm the mercy, I'm Rachamim. You see me as Elokim. He said, you're doing bad to the Jews. You don't understand completely. I'm the Rachamim. That's why I'm doing this to him. So he says that the only way that I can have Rachamim, mercy on Jews, is by giving them that hard time. Paro killing the babies and working hard and not having straws. So in Yud Kei Vav Kei, we say in Yud Gimel Midot, we say Hashem, Hashem, Ker Rachum V'Chanun. We start with Hashem, Hashem. The first two attributes of Hashem is Hashem. Hashem, Hashem. Right? You are merciful, you are merciful. Chachamim say why there's two Hashem, right? Hashem is merciful before you do teshuvah, Hashem is merciful after you do teshuvah, right? So if someone hasn't gotten close to Hashem, Hashem gives him a hard time, but because he wants him to do teshuvah, not because Hashem is judgmental, because it's Hashem. Also, you give afke. After the teshuvah, after you get the merit, Hashem shows you a good face, right? That's also rachamim, right? He says it's like when Hashem,
Give us hard time first and after you give us the easy.
right? So he says it's like somebody who has Chas Shalom, some sickness and he has to go through a surgery. In order for him to get out of that sickness, that problem, he has to go through a surgery, and surgery is very painful. You have to cut his, to cut my gum open, to cut my tooth. It was very painful, but it was a good thing for me. I had to get rid of my wisdom tooth, but that's the only way to get it. To get it. So he writes in length what so the point is to the emunah that Hashem's tough time is also a good time. That's also rachamim. Says that when Hashem told Moshe, you go to Paro, speak to Paro, he said, you go with Aaron and the elders, right? Are you with us? So you go with the elders. But when Moshe and Paro reached, when Moshe and Aaron reached Paro, there were only two of them. What happened to all the old people? Nobody came. Why? And then Paro said, I'm not going to give them free time. I'm going to make it harder for them. Why the old people didn't come? So Hashem punished them. That's why later on they didn't have the zechut to go on top of Mount Sinai. They didn't go up with Moshe and Aaron. Moshe and Aaron went alone. He said, if you didn't accompany Moshe and Aaron all the way to the palace, you weren't coming to my palace. So he says maybe because they didn't have emunah that Hashem could do it right now. Hard time. We don't see the good right now, right? And Paro felt it. He said, you guys. I thought 200 people were going to come to my office. Only 2 people came. What happened to the rest of you guys? They also don't believe in it. They don't believe in your God. They don't believe in your God. So why should I believe in your God? When you don't have a full emunah, people also feel it. So they will be, on the same, unfortunately, same page. If you don't have full emunah in what your God could do for you, don't expect Paro to do the same thing. Now, let's go to what Hashem said to Moshe. By the way, look here, Moshe. So Elohim said, Elohim spoke to Moshe and then said, Ani Hashem, I'm Yudke Vavke. Hashem was saying that there are two sides of a coin, but the same thing. It's all Hashem. Now, what do you say in Shema Israel every day? And I think I try to have this kavanah every time I say, Shema Israel, hear Israel, Hashem Elokeinu, right? Hashem sometimes is with Midad Rachamim. I guess we see it as Midad Rachamim. Yudke Vavke, everything is perfect, life is going nice. There's health, there's bracha, there's protection, no worries. Sometimes this is one Hashem. Then there's the same Hashem, but Elokeinu, he becomes our judge. Everything's judgmental, tit for tat. You go this, you get that. So we believe that Hashem is the same God, right? Hashem, which is the merciful, is Elokeinu, is our judge too. But then we say, Hashem Echad, is one God. We don't say Elokim Echad, we say Hashem Echad, Yudke Vavke Echad. The one, same way, it's all merciful, right? When you see, October 7th, all the bad things that happen after, and so many death and destruction. So Hashem, this was Elokeinu, right? That's our judge, our God. We fully believe in God, right? But that was Elokeinu. At the end of Shema, we say Hashem. That was also Midat Rachamim. It's very hard to see Rachamim in that. How can you see thousands of people dead? So many people lost their husbands, their wives, their children, their grandparents. That's Hashem? That's Yud Kei Vav Kei? That's merciful of God? But that's what we say in Shema. Hashem, at the end of the day, the both sides of the story, both sides of the coin, is all about Yud Kei Vav Kei, of mercy of God. It's very hard to see it. But we say, Shema Ata Gibor Leolam. Hashem, you're strong. We know it's all, Ata Gibor Leolam Hashem. Hashem, you're always merciful. So sometimes Hashem controls himself. He's the Gibor, he's the tough guy, the strong guy, by doing what we like to see. Sometimes Hashem is the strong guy by doing even things that you don't like to see. But Hashem is not less, he's not less strong, not weak now. Hashem is always strong. Le'olam, always. And that was Hashem's, return to Moshe. Why you don't see the good in it? You have to see my Rachamim. Even if I'm making it harder for Jews, there's so many reasons why I'm doing it, but it's all Rachamim, it's all good for Jews. Something for us to keep in mind, Hashem has his calculation why you have to go through this tough time, but ultimately it's Rachamim of Hashem. Hopefully we don't have to see the tough part of it, but that's life. Nobody can run away from it. It will be always hard time in a person's life, but with that Hashem should see the Rachamim of it very soon. Hazak Baruch, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, merci Rabbi.
Shalom.